you go, Tuma. What was it? 6:45 Thursday morning. Then Friday, speechier Thursday night. Then Friday, really good night. And we've come to the last and final event, the open shearing. It's been a grand 3 days, isn't it?
We got some tired boys in there, Gerald. They've shorn in 2 big events tonight. Are they going to run out of gas? Is that going to have an effect on these boys tonight?
Science would say they will. Science, well, a man last year, a young fella, Troy Piper from Invercargill, had the same scenario, hit the wall at sheep number 7 and basically shore subconsciously from there, just let go and managed to finish, and actually come out with a 3rd in the finish. But anyway, here we go. We've got 2 guys that are in deep training and are ready for action. All we need is the green light and some names, and we can welcome them up and set it free for the last time in the year 2017. Not yet, Tuma. We need to do a bit of... Oh, we're underway.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the open final. Hold on to your seats, because let's get ready to rumble. On stand number 1, ladies and gentlemen, from fielding, he's got muscles on muscles. Aaron Haynes, get up here, buddy.
From Halcombe, the Master Blaster, Murray Henderson, ladies and gentlemen, you give him a super welcome.
On stand number 3, ladies and gentlemen, from Pongaroa, he's one of your own, David Buick.
Past world champion, he has won this event before. Gavin, the Muchman, Gavin Much from Scotland.
From the deep south in New Zealand, Aotearoa, from Invercargill, Nathan Stratford, ladies and gentlemen, El Stratty.
There is no name, but we know his face. He is the reigning champion, Roland Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
They're rolling.
Well, Tuma, now the All Black Test match is ready to start. We've had a lot of Test matches here today. Listen to the noise already without any encouragement. The product's starting to work, as in the sponsor's product, the Tui.
Well, we had a couple of young Scottish lasses down at the World Champs running past with Scottish flags. I wonder if they're here tonight. They've got Gavin Much here in the final, and he's fresh. He's fresh.
He is fresh. He actually, even before the Worlds, he had held back on...
Well, our folks out there in the World Wide Web, and we understand that there's probably about 5,000 people tuning in to watch this open final tonight, sponsored by the Golden Shears. We're here in the Masterton War Memorial Stadium. Richard Dempney is our special guest as our guest commentator, and we're here in the studio sponsored by Noise Productions. The hall, Richard, welcome along, is just permeating away, and it's just building up, isn't it?
Very much, Kora. Thank you for the welcome here. Thank you for this opportunity to broadcast, as we say, live to the world. Yeah, it's a great privilege and an honour, but yeah, I'm pretty nervous and pretty excited too, because we've got a pretty good final here just about to start, and we've had quite a few upsets on the way, and she's a new look on there, and yeah, we can perhaps talk through some of those upsets, Koro.
Well, we started off with the quarterfinals on Friday night, last night, and there was a big Tōtara fell. That was John Kirkpatrick. He was just probably the biggest upset in Golden Shears in a long, long time. And we've come through. Dion King is another one that fell by the wayside as well, because he qualified the highest into that open semi-finals. But he didn't make the cut. And now we've left with the 6 best shearers out of the 70-odd shearers that came through.
Very much so. And
elimination heats on Friday.
Names like Jack Fagan, Mark Granger, very unlucky. He was the next man in, missed out. Yes, but there were some new faces in that semi-final. Young man Frew from Timaru, got up into there and had a great shear, but yeah, just not quite good enough to match it with the big boys. Rolly Smith's been very scratchy. I think he was he fifth qualifier into there?
He's been in the
He's been struggling. He he looked pretty scratchy tonight in the Caltex National or the PGG Wrightson National. That was the one that was shown earlier on. He didn't shear so well in the test with the Aussies. He's been having a little bit of trouble with the gear. The sheep have been coming in full. They're fighting the shearers, and it's interesting. I said after the thing, but they've had a long break. We saw pretty hard test, and he looked a little bit ragged. But they've had, it must be 3/4 of an hour now, I suppose. Yeah, he's still my parochial favourite, being a Northland man and Rolly being a
folks stick together. The Ngāpuhi in the house, and that's where we are at, ladies and gentlemen. The open final.
Well, it's underway
now. Underway, and the first sheep is out on the board. The $3,000 event here. The Chris and June Challenge Trophy is all at stake now. $3,000 a list of product, and away we go.
A handpiece and a lot of money, yes.
Round onto the first shoulder. Onto the first shoulder. Gavin Much has started where he left off. He's just flicked away. The time is ticking away. We haven't got the clock there on the left-hand side, but he put out the first sheep in under 50 seconds, Richard.
Yeah.
He goes down the last side, and boy, gee, he's put down the challenge to these other boys. 39 40 seconds, Richard.
40 seconds. Dave Buick there, not far behind. Rolly Smith just a couple of blows away. They're all pretty close. Even Haynes down at this end here, just Stratford, 51 seconds. So they're motoring, and he was the slowest at 51 seconds. They're expecting Much to go out and go like he normally. He really looks like he's trying hard, going hard, real workman, and they expect him to go hard to start with. But if he can't get a sheep round Rolly Smith to start with, he will be a worried man. Buick there. He has never won this final. He's been trying hard. He wants to be the first man to bring it back to the Wairarapa. Whether he can or not, I don't know. But Henderson and Haynes on 1 and 2. This is Haynes that's in shot at the moment. A very, very good shearer. He's made this final a couple of times. He's another one. Perhaps it's a breakthrough year. David Fagan expects a breakthrough this year. I was speaking to him earlier. Yes, is it going to be either Haynes or Henderson? Is it Buick? How do we know? Because there's only 2 previous winners, and that being that man Gavin Much, and then the man down the far end, Rolly Smith.
He looked a little bit stiff, that guy, Aaron Haynes. He looked just a little bit uptight. He's got to loosen up a bit more. Let the loose goose man, let it go. Into the belly goes Aaron Haynes, and he's turning there. 1 minute and 55 seconds is only ticked by, folks, and we're on sheep number 3. The big undermine steps up, jump up there, Aaron Haynes. He's on stand number 1, and look at this guy on stand number 2. Murray Henderson is sticking right with him. He's got the glue on, and he's really pumping along the long blow. Sizzling pace set now. Sheep number 3 on the board. 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and Murray Henderson.
We'll have to tell that judge to get out of the road.
Down the last side.
Yeah, he's going well, all right. As we come down there, he's sneaking away down there. Murray Henderson, perhaps him and Stratford, perhaps recognises the 2 slowest in here, not the real speedsters. Buick there's having a good run. He's sure well in the semis to get into the final as well. And that's just over there. That's 2.5 minutes gone, and we're into sheep number 4. I would expect somewhere 16 minutes, 17 minutes.
Well, it's got to be around. If you're 17 minutes, you might as well go home, because it's go hard or go home. Into the undermine is this guy. Murray Henderson sticks up the neck. Aaron Haynes has got one that's just jumping around, twerking a little bit there. Onto the first shoulder is Murray Henderson, but David Buick, the Pongaroa, born and bred in the mighty Wairarapa, down the last side he goes. He's fired up, he's wired up, and he's down the last side. Murray Henderson, that sheep's a bit strong. It's not sitting nicely, Richard.
No, he's having a little bit of trouble with it. I noticed in the side shot there that Much had gone in for sheep number 5. He's the only man on 5. But when you look at the others, there's less than half a sheep between them. The Buick's got one out as well, so you've got 2 out. Rolly Smith's there as well. So, okay, Much has got half a sheep on him at this stage, but that's nothing. Rolly gets those big arms moving down there on stand 6. We haven't seen much of him yet. Just in the side view there, he's going well, just going into the undermine. And it's Stratford there's not that much ahead of him. So At this stage, I would say Rolly's reasonably comfortable, settles into his work, because as they move on, his fitness, those Inspector Gadget arms that he's got will get into go, and away he goes. This is Buick here, the local man from Pongaroa. He's the local lad wanting to bring it home. He's been trying for a number of years, and it would just set off his career if he could get it.
Oh, he's a real patriot, that boy, David Buick. Folks out there, look at how he just didn't miss a beat. The sheep was a little bit unsettled. He just popped the head forward. He brought the head forward in front of his knees and settled down. If anybody had have tried on, they would have really got caught up on it. Stand number 4. Here we go, and we're going to the man that's fired up and wired up. Gavin Much coming down the last side, and sheep number 6 on the board. It's only 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Gavin Much has won this before. He would like to take it. He's tasted big time stuff, and he's popping it out. He's put a good whole sheep, half a sheep on the man behind him. Nathan Stratford is going on to the first shoulder. Nathan's quality will carry him, Richard.
Well, he'll hope so. The board points there for Much are looking pretty good. I was talking to him, and he was a little bit disappointed not to do better in the World Champs couple of weeks ago there, but yeah, he's fired up. He knows how to win this. That smooth hand there of Buick in front of him, but Much, very workmanlike manner that he's got, just keeps pumping into it, just keeps working hard. He doesn't stop. He keeps going. Look at those blows there along the long blow. Round to that last side there, tucks it up there. Another couple down the side. A little bit of frib there left on that brisket, but that's something for the judges outside to worry about.
Wow, look at this guy, and I hope that folk back in Scotland, in Aberdeen in Scotland, are watching him. We're going now on to Nathan Stratford. Stratty, as we call.
Look at the board
sheep number
points.
7 on the board.
Look
5
at those
minutes
board
and 40
points.
seconds, and he's got one. That's a real bugger. Up the neck he goes, and he says, "You sit still, you beggar. All I want is to get this wool off it, because here comes Gavin Much." Gavin Much is a whole sheep ahead of him now, and we've only got 7 sheep on the board. Gavin Much is smarting. Around the top of the eye he goes. Onto the long blow is Nathan Stratford, but Gavin Much is coming back at him. I think that Gavin Much will be putting a sheep around the whole field tonight, Richard.
Yes, although at this stage he's only got half a sheep on Rolly, who's probably the fastest of all the others there. Stratford is better known as a merino shearer or fine wool shearer, hasn't got the pace of these guys. It will be interesting, but as it is, Much only has to have a wriggler or a niggler, and all of a sudden they're gone. This is Roland Smith, your current world shear champion. His board points are looking good. He's looking pretty smooth. He's actually looking a lot happier than he was in that Trans-Tasman test. He's also looking a lot happier than he was in the PGG Wrightson.
Oh, he's got his gear going nicely.
Yeah, he
now.
looks like
he's wired up, he's fired up, he's hitting the jet stream. He's onto it now. Down the last side, and he pops in. Sheep number 9 coming on the board. Gavin Much has already been there, done
7 minutes
Both
for
got
9 sheep.
On the board, into the belly goes Roland Smith. He knows it, but the quality is, Gavin Much is a quality shearer as well. Roland Smith's the quality, and he knows he can't be too far behind, because if Gavin Much has a good shear, he's going to take this out tonight.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And Rolly's got a little bit of a point to prove. He was bitterly disappointed not to make that New Zealand team that contested the World Champs. He won the All Nations event that was there, which was a precursor to it, but he was not in the New Zealand team. There was a little bit of ill feeling amongst the shearers there, that a little bit unjust, but that's okay. Look at the wide shot there now, and you've got Much there. He's not that far ahead. See, Rolly, it's just a couple of good niggly sheep there, and he'll be right up there. See, he missed a couple of blows there. Rolly's in. He's just going up the neck. That's only about 10 seconds.
Well, we're talking about a half a point when we're talking about points, and I think Gavin Much at this stage is just a half a point on Roland Smith, but his gear is going well. The mojo's just flowing with this Gavin down the last side. Muchy boy is coming down the last side. A little bit of tar wee there on the brisket, but he's cleaned it up nicely. A little bit of wool there, and this sheep is starting to give him a little bit of doodah. Down the last side he's going. And we can see in the top of the picture,
Smith coming on the long blows.
Just coming down
on
the
that last side as well. So he's catching. Change a handpiece. 10 sheep, new handpiece. This will be interesting to see what happens here. That's normally a little bit early. You normally like to do a few more just in case that second handpiece does it. Buick's travelling pretty nicely there in front on stand 3 there, just under the leg. He's okay. He's half a sheep behind, but Dave's not known as a speedster. He's known as a man that just keeps there. But Haynes Haynes and Henderson down here on 1 and 2. They're still on their 10th sheep. They're not that far behind those guys dropping in. Murray Henderson, I would expect to be the last man off. But then again, him and Stratford are pretty similar there. They're looking pretty good. Aaron Haynes, these two, they'll shear along together, those two boys. They do a lot together.
The body. Aaron Haynes is the body, and it's uncharacteristic. He's actually should have stepped up a little bit in the speed stakes, but we're going back to Roland Smith now. Sheep number 11 on the board, and the time is 9 minutes and 16 seconds. It's going to be a good 18 minutes unless they start picking up the speed. He didn't change his handpiece, I suspect, because it's still sitting in the little cubby hole on the wall there. He hasn't gone for the change.
That sheep's looking pretty smooth though.
And he's on, and he goes again for the next one.
It's only the top knot. I'd say he's about 15 seconds ahead.
Gavin Much actually stepped ahead. He's gone a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
He was only doing the undermine when Roland Smith turned into the undermine. The undermine time comes for Roland Smith. Good wide angle view. Gavin Much is there. Look at that. He's
rolling his own body. He's working hard. His board points are a little bit higher. Rolly's at this stage just over 1. Much is a 2.3, but that's the point. So they're pretty even. There's nothing between them. Board job out. The job outside's going to be what decides it at this stage. But we still have 8 sheep to go. Koro, it's looking pretty good there. Now there's the good style. That must be the Scottish style that's come to New Zealand, I take it.
He would have lost 2.5, maybe 3 seconds on just that little misdemeanor by the sheep, and that would have given Roland Smith.
And here it comes,
and here he comes. Oh, he's got another one that's playing nasty games with him.
So
it's
all
a
of a
game
sudden,
of Thrones that's going
there
on
he's changed his handpiece.
Handpiece change on stand number 6. Gavin Much, yes, you're going to have to start breathing because the hairs are going to step up on the back of your neck. He would know because the commentators in the stadium will be saying, here comes Roland Smith. The undermine time for Roland Smith. And he goes 1, 2, suck that baby. Up the neck goes Roland Smith and round behind the ear. 13 sheep on 3, 4 and stand number 6, and that's the way it's going. The other boys are still on 12. Gee whiz, that Nathan Stratford's come back into the picture.
Yes, he's come back a little one, but Rolly Smith, he must be on his way to the airport because that little baby he's got's a flyer.
Down the last side, I think David Buick has come back to the party. He's joined the party. He's not having a party without him, and the Pongaroa man is there. Look at this guy. He's absolutely going ballistic. The undermine time comes for Gavin Much. And where is he? Up the neck he goes. Yeah. Up the neck goes Gavin Much. Round behind the ear. He's chasing him all the way. Round behind here, he's got some beauties. There's only 6 sheep left in the pen, and I would suspect every one of them will be an absolute flyer, Richard.
You would hope so. You would think they'd have farmed their pen by now. These boys would have sorted that out when they started. That's a pretty good cheek, bit of a thing. So again, he's left a little bit of wool under the brisket, and that there's a few points off there. It'll be interesting. But these sheep here, they're not bad little sheep. These bag shop sheep that have come in from the hills here today. That's sheep number 14, 6 to go, as you say. Drops it in. He's in for sheep number 15. 3/4 of the way in 12 minutes. So it's just going to be over the 16 seconds. Wow. Rolly's pretty damn close down the end there.
Rolly's winding him in. He's winding him in back. He's going back to the future.
But all of them are on sheep 14.
Lighting up the stage.
4 on 14, 2 on 15.
Well, we better put a shout out if Matt Langtry's watching this. He's the guy that used to maintain all the machinery, and let's see how he goes. He'd be loving this at home if he's tuned in. The undermine time comes up. The Lister man has supplied us with the machinery. Around behind the ear he goes. Onto the first shoulder. There should only be little honeys left in the pen for Roland Smith. Long blow time, and like you say, he's now focused because this guy Gavin Much, is he fit? He's done the business. Down the last side is Roland. The undermine time, turning to the last side is our local man David Buick.
He's right there. Buick's right there.
Into the belly on sheep number. We've lost the sheep on the top hand side. Aaron Haynes is getting burnt off at the moment, but the undermine time for Murray Henderson. Into the undermine is Aaron Haynes, and this is it.
Yeah, there
he goes.
His board points are still looking pretty good.
The board points are great, and we're on 13 minutes.
Yeah,
and 14
3 of them on
seconds.
16, 3 of them on 15. Koro.
3 of them on 15, so there's only been 1 sheep put around these guys. Here he goes. This is Murray Henderson, the boy from Halcombe in the Manawatu, the mighty turbo country. Down the last side he goes. David Buick's onto the first shoulder, but Gavin Much is coming down the last foreleg. It's all on here. Golden Shears 2017, Richard.
Yes, she certainly is there, and we're back there with our man Buick. He's doing a pretty good job. Board points are looking good. He's looking pretty smooth. He's not moving his head around. He's pretty steady, just using those arms, those big shoulders, which you should do. Keep the body, a bit like on a push bike. They're going there, but it's, man, much. He's got sheep 17 out. All the rest are on 16. There you are. Rolly's got it out, so there's not much between them. Buick's got his out as well. So this is Henderson here. Let's have a look what's happening here. Look at the board points for Henderson. He's looking pretty gash good. He actually struggled to get through. His sheep were giving him jippo, but his job was absolutely fantastic. Look at him go. Where we are now, 14 and a half minutes and 7 sheep, 17 on the board. There's 3 of them with 16. Stratford, Haynes and Henderson still a sheep behind these other 3. What's happening with the other big boys, I don't know, but that's Murray Henderson. Buick there onto the last side. He's obviously, look, he's the last side away. Actually, Stratty and Mucha, there's nothing between Mucha and Henderson. Look at that.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen, the viewers out there in the
Buick's there with him as well. Buick's with him as well.
Going ballistic. Gavin Mutchie knows this man down there on stand number 6 is coming back at him pretty fast. Into the undermine is Roland Smith, and up the neck goes Gavin Mutch on stand number 4.
There's about 4 blows between them.
Down the last side is this guy. Gavin Mutch is going on to the first shoulder. Long blow time for Gavin. Sheep number 18 on the shearing board. 2 more in the pen. The time is 15 minutes and 14 seconds, and he's down there. I would suspect that after about 19 sheep, that man Gavin Mutch is under pressure from Roland Smith down there on stand number 6.
It looks like he's losing the edge on that handpiece too. It's just starting to hook up a bit, yeah, because he changed it early.
Go, folks.
There you go. Still just a couple of blows. But look at Buick. Buick's only 3 away as well. He's right there. It's going to be all down to quality points. Much is starting to lose it on the board. His points are starting to tick up on the board. He's 3.8. I know the other boys are a bit lower. Henderson's were only 1.2, so I think Roland Smith there's got him on the undermine. Top knot together. There's only a blow between them. I'd say Rolly will beat him off this one. But Buick's right there as well. There's nothing between these 3. Look at them go. This is a great shot. Look at Henderson and Haynes. They're together. Stratford's a little bit behind them. No, he's up there. Stratford's ahead of them. So Stratford's into the sheep as well. He's realised he's got to pick up. Look at the speed of Stratford there on stand 5. But it looks like it is Roland Smith that's made the front. Roland Smith. Buick looks like he's going to go through much as well. But it's Roland Smith that's going to pull out sheep number 21st. This will be, there it goes. There's the cheer. That's your current champion down there pulling out his 20th first. Butch is there. Buick is there. But I think Rolly Smith might just take this quarter.
The last sheep on the board, folks, out there, and David Buick has actually clawed back Gavin Mutch. The undermine time stands 4, 3, 4, and number 6, and they're all go up the neck. Gavin Mutch said, "Hey, I'm a Scotsman. I wear that paint well." The yellow, the blue and white flag is onto it. He's not dying. He's not lying down. Roland Smith's the long blow.
Buick's
Gavin
not
Mutch
lying down either. Look at him go.
Comes up for David Buick, turning to the
bit of a wriggler
side.
for Much there. Rolly's got it. Rolly will get the time points. Much is Buick might even know. Much is going to be second. Roland Smith will win it. Much will be second. Just on 17 minutes and 15 seconds for Roland Smith. 15 minutes and 23 for Much. 15:25 for Buick. That's pretty good time. And now we've got Nathan Stratford with half a sheep to go on stand 5. Henderson and Haynes down here, both doing the undermine. These 2 boys are the synchronised swimming duo of Shearing.
They've stuck together all through the final, haven't they, these 2 boys on stands?
They know each other, they shear each other, they shear with each other in the shed together day in, day out. They know what's going on. This will be a pretty good test for these 2 boys. But it looks like Stratford down there, just another couple of 3 or 4 blows, and he'll be pulling the cord as well. Still a pretty respectable time. It's a pity we've lost our time. We can't tell you what it is. And there you go. Looks like it'll be Aaron Haynes just sneaking through there. He's done his 20 sheep. No, that doesn't tell us at all what it is. 1,043 seconds if you can take that. I'm not quite...
18 minutes. I think they pulled off in 18 minutes.
That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that.
16 seconds. Well, Richard, we've seen it. We need to go to our graphs and just see where they've pulled up. At this stage, I would suspect that it's between Gavin Mutch and Roland. And David Buick, he was right there as well. But look at that. There's hardly anything in it. 1.95.
Comes down to outside. Comes
the
down
board.
to outside.
Murray Henderson is great on the board as well, but 1.95 for the guy on stand number 6, 51.95 in time is absolutely fine. I think you folks at home, you don't know what the quality job is, but every one of those shearers doesn't put out an unusually bad job. And just looking at it, I'm not calling it, Richard.
No, it'll come to outside. Any of those shearers could have badly cut a sheep or nicked a sheep, which happens occasionally when you're going at that speed. As I mentioned one stage there, Gavin Much was leaving a few tassels. How do we know the answer? It's definitely in the judge's hands out the back. And yeah, I wouldn't like to pick it. I'm parochial and I look after the Northland boy, Rolly Smith. But yeah, no, David Buick, is it his time in the sun? How do we know?
Well, we don't know, folks out there in the World Wide Web and Wairarapa TV. We have just witnessed another fantastic. We had a beautiful open final last year with Pairata Abraham just lifting the roof off there, and tonight we've had a Wairarapa boy lifting the roof up even higher. So this is a goal that every shearer will now go home and say,
absolutely.
I'm making that bloody open final next year.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what's going
We
to
had
happen.
70 of them that were saying it here, and it was down to 6.
I'm getting in my car in the morning and
Better
I'm
go home.
coming back in 12 months to do the business.
Absolutely.
And that's what's going on. So we're going to just go back to the stadium and just see what's going on. I think one of the boys is talking to them, and we're actually going to bring in some special guests, and we're going to be talking to them. So Toby, thank you very much, and give us a couple of moments, and we're going to bring in a couple of special guests. What a fantastic Golden Shears this has been for 2017. Here in the studio, Noise Productions has brought all the beautiful quality, the technology, and we have just witnessed something. We haven't done this before. This is the very first time that we've actually commentated, and we didn't think we'd get any hype, but I believe it's worked out all right. We've had the primary ITO wool final, and it is our very good privilege to welcome into the studio the one and only, the world's best wool handler, crowned in Invercargill a couple of weeks ago. Tēnā koe, Joel. Welcome to the studio.
Kia ora koro.
Kia ora. And we watched that. There's a lot of dignitaries out there. There's a lot of MPs. Of course, it's the elections this year. And Joel, we watched it. Mavis and I did the commentary, and the points came up just in your favour so strongly. How did you think you went down in that finals?
Yeah, well, it was a little bit hard to say. It was just trying to keep up with my shearer, and you know, I had a plan of attack. You know, it might have looked like I was a little bit behind, but I think a lot of it was just to stay with the job, and you know, just bearing in mind the shearer was there, so just keeping up with that as well.
Do you think that there's too many sheep in that final, or was that just perfect?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. 6 full wool and 4 second shear. It's pretty even, so no, it's good.
The Golden Shears brings out the best in everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Mavis, I was lucky to have Mavis in the studio, and she said, Cherie Alabaster looks good.
Yeah, I was talking to Sherry just after the final, and I said, "Oh, how did you go?" And she says, "Oh, you know, a lot of work in them, but she didn't sound too confident. But like I said, you never know; it's all out the back."
Oh, Joel. Hey, you're crowned the world champion in the world of wool handling. We lost Johnny Kirkpatrick in the quarterfinals, and you managed to stay on top. I'm not saying you've won.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you've won, but it looks very much like you've won. And Johnny Kirkpatrick fell over, and of course, that's competition shearing and wool handling.
It was actually a bit of a shock for me to see watching Johnny leading up to the Golden Shears at a lot of the competitions, watching his performances, always right there behind Roland. And, you know, to see him miss out here at the Golden Shears, perhaps there was a lot of pressure. You know, Johnny's first time being world champion, and here at the Golden Shears.
He would have liked to have backed it up, wouldn't
I
he?
think so.
Yeah. Pagan Karodia, she tipped you the other day, didn't she? She just pipped you, didn't she?
Yeah. Pagan's always been there. She's always been there. Tia Podai, Portai, she's another one, you know, right there. You know, those two have been just hard up me right from the word go from Alexandra last year. So Pagan, she's well on her way to becoming the next master wool handler. She's only got 2 more wins left. They can be any shows, and to be a master, you're a master koro, master machine shearer, so you'd know how much work it does take to get in there.
I do remember that time when I made the Golden Shears Open final. It was a highlight, and I'll never forget that. But we had Amber down there on table number 4.
Oh, Anne-Marie?
Anne-Marie, sorry.
Yeah.
Kahukura.
Anne-Marie, she's been doing very well over her whole career. She's done well right from the juniors, and she's here now. Pagan did a lot of mentoring with you. She's from Umako, in the Central Otago region, so she does a lot of work with Pagan for Dion Morale.
Just going back to your 4 guys, we'd like to do this with the open shearers, make themselves available when we go through the prize giving. But Joel, Cherie, Pagan, and Anne-Marie, what's the average age there for you guys?
Well, I think the average age is probably 30, 31 perhaps.
Still got another 10 years in the petrol tank.
Yeah.
Because you're in the studio, we've got a bit of free time. Anybody else you'd like to shout out there, because you've got a family there?
Yeah, I've got a lot of family supporting from the south to my family down in Dunedin that'll be watching, and in Alexandra, Milton, Australia's watching, Gisborne's watching, and of course my main family, my wife and my 3 boys, that'll be having the TV on, and they'll be sitting here watching this.
We worked out there was 5,000, I believe, watching the finals. So we worked it out that in some homes, all these miserable people have one TV, and they'll invite the whole street there. Instead of turning it on in their own houses, they've got a TV in their room, and then one in the garage, and so everybody's been invited. Joel, we don't know who's won. You certainly looked good. Your quality is never questioned outside. So, but anything can happen. We wish you well. Kei te mihi atu ki a koe e Joel, kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawa nui. Well done.
Thank you, Koro.
Ladies and gentlemen, only 2 of these 6 shearers have won the Golden Shears title. But by making their way to this final here tonight, they've proved themselves to be the 6 best shearers in the world. And I think that should be recognised. The winner of the Golden Shears Open Shearing Final receives $3,000 plus the Golden Shears Open Challenge Trophy, a Lister handpiece, more Lister products, and an MKM jersey. The winner's points were 60.7. Second place was 64.0. Third and fourth were also on 64 points. The winner of the 2017 Golden Shears Open Shearing Final, Roland Smith. Roland, that's your 4th title now, and that's your signature pose as you've won each year. It's very clear to everyone here and the tens of thousands of people watching online what this means to you. Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Again, I'd like to thank all the sponsors for the event, Phil and his team for putting on the Shears again, all the farmers for farming the sheep, 4,000 sheep here each year, big commitment, all the crutches, Ken and his team for drafting the sheep, all the guys and the girls out the back, the Rousies today. Again, my wife and family, Mum, Paul, Heinegger, everybody have a good night. Cheers.
Well done, Roland. Second place receives $1,200 plus an MKM jersey. The difference between second place and third place was as followed. Second place, 64.028. Third place, 64.043. Second place, Aaron Haynes. Third place receives $800 plus an MKM jersey. Nathan Stratford. Fourth place, only 0.2 points away from third. Give it up for the local boy, David Buick. Fifth place, $500 and an MKM jersey, Murray Henderson. And of course, this is the premier world shearing event. Please congratulate from Scotland, Gavin Much. Before the photo is taken, once again we have a quality award associated to this event for the best quality points in the open final with 8.75 points. I don't know how he's going to hold it. Roland Smith. There is one final award to present. This is the R.E. O'Hara Memorial Trophy for best quality points in any shearing final across all grades. The quality points in this final was 6 points. And that goes to the junior finalist, Mark Ferguson. Mark's already collected a couple of quality awards already, this Golden Shears. He must have thought that was his lot. So we'll make sure he gets that while the photo's being taken. On behalf of the Golden Shears, we'd like to thank you all very much for coming along tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. Acknowledgement to our sponsors, our volunteers, and everyone who's helped. Travel safe. Thanks very much, and see you again in 2018. Thank you.
There's always more to be done on the farm. Just like me and my rugby, you need to take time out to perform at your best. Find out what works for you, then lock it in.
This is how we roll in Masterton.